Hey guys, welcome to Always Pinkies Up. Here on Always Pinkies Up, we have real conversations about real topics with real people. And today, you're going to hear from entrepreneur, motivational speaker, designer, and stylist, Ty Hunter. Hey Ty,
Hey,
welcome
Sean.
to Always Pinkies Up.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Thank
I'm
you
so
for
proud of
coming. Thank you. Now, before we begin, we're going to sip on our cocktail. We have Prosecco today.
Yes.
And when you sip, don't forget to put your pinky up. And we got to do a little toast first. So, cheers. Don't forget the pinky up. I can't even get my finger.
I tried to wear this shirt today.
It
A
matches.
little homage to your show.
Teacup,
Pinky up.
teacup.
Yeah.
Yes, it's perfect.
Your pinky got to go up.
It's
Sean.
up. You just can't see it.
This is good. Thank you.
Thank you. So we're just going to hop straight into it. But before I begin, I have some words that I'm going to say. And I want you to say the first thing that comes to mind.
Okay.
Really quick, really easy.
Yeah.
So the first word is fashion.
Life.
Struggle.
Life.
Loyalty.
It's just my DNA.
Perseverance.
It's faith.
Guidance.
Faith.
Love.
Love. Self.
Father.
Figure.
Texas.
Family.
Commitment.
DNA. It's who I am.
Tie.
Ty is, God, that's more than one word. That's a hard one. But humble would be a good word for Ty.
So you grew up in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about your childhood and being raised in Houston. Like who raised
I
you?
was actually born in Austin.
Austin, okay.
And I moved to Houston when I turned like 19,
Okay.
20-ish to find myself. I have an amazing family back home, but I just had to like grow. My mom was like everything to me. Like she washed my clothes and she was just an amazing parent. And I had to just find myself and grow up. I worked in...
She washed your clothes until you were
Yeah,
19?
my mom did everything for me and my brother.
Oh
She was
my
a single
goodness.
parent, but she did everything. And I worked at an artificial heart valve company, and I just got to a point where I knew that wasn't for me. So I packed my car up and moved to Houston to stay with my cousin. My goal was to stay with him for 3 months and pan it out and see if I liked it. End up loving Houston, and that's kind of how my career started in fashion.
Growing up, what kind of child were you? Like, what was your personality? And how did you interact with other kids and people?
People don't know this. Still to this day, I'm really, really silly. I'm very, very crazy and funny. I used to do pranks all the time. Oh my God. I was like the kid that played too much in school. I always did pranks on teachers. I always
Like putting like the farting cushion in your chair?
all kind of stuff. I used to just cut up, especially if it was a substitute, forget about it. But I've always been popular. I've always, been that person that people want around, and I think it's because of just me being me and my energy and whatever. But I'm really, really silly. Really, really corny at some point.
Well, so you just told us that you were a class clown, but how were you academically?
I was really, 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 really good in school until about 9th grade when people started telling me I was cute. By the time I got to high school, I was a mess. I was just about, dressing up and, just being
Sing.
that guy, yeah. And my cousins at the time were all in college, so I would go to high school and I just felt like, these kids are getting on my nerves. I had an old soul by the time I got to high school. I wanted to be with my cousins who were in college and hang out with them. I was going to Kappa parties and hanging out and going to clubs and stuff at a young age. But in high school, the kids were just getting on my nerves. I was like, oh my God. But I had a lot of cool friends, my little crew. I used to dance. Hip hop dance. Oh my God, I'm giving you too much. I used to dance with this hip hop artist back home. Me and my crew, my boys, we used to dance for this rapper back home. It's just a hot mess. I hope
like talent shows.
I hope none of this.
We need to find that footage. We need to find that.
But that was something I did, and I just had a moment. It was just a fun time. Hip hop was doing it, and you had all those movies like New Jack City, and so I was a fan of Kwame. He was a rapper who wore polka dots all the time. I dyed my hair all these different colors way back then. I was just always forever changing. No, I used to have a high top fade. I used to look just like Kid. which is embarrassing now. But I used to have a high top fade. I used to have blonde hair, black. I've done it all. I changed my look like at least every 2 weeks. I used to get bored, and so I would always change my look.
Yeah. Well, I read that your mom and your grandmother played a huge role in, inspiring you. What did they do to for you to look up to them as much as you do?
Again, like my mom was amazing, and just to see her be able to take care of me and my brother, and my grandmother's support. My grandmother always pushed me to just find my individuality and just be myself. And being with her, we're going thrift shopping and just learning how to make $1 stretch. I learned from my grandmother, and I think that's how my nick for fashion kind of came, because I know how to make something out of nothing. And my mom just always being there and supporting whatever decisions I decide. She was always there cheering me on, and that's the major part.
What's the age difference between you and your brother?
My brother is 5 years younger than me.
Okay.
But I feel like I'm the younger one now. He's a big guy, and I'm like, when I'm with him, I feel like the little brother.
Right.
But I used to beat him up when he was younger, but now I
can't
do it now. I can't do it now. He's huge.
So,
but
what is your relationship like with your father?
We're close. My dad is amazing. He's again, they were separated young when I was young, but my dad was always around. He's a sports guy. I wasn't so into sports.
Right.
Like, he loves sports. That's all he talked about. So him and my brother were a little bit closer. He used to try to take me to games and Super Bowl and stuff. And I would just like, can I get some money for the concession stand? And I would go and leave. So finally he caught on. He was like, you know what? I can't keep wasting this money for Super Bowl tickets. And where is Ty? Like,
Exactly.
I'm walking around the stadium and
looking at people's outfits.
Calling my friends that live in town to pick me up and stuff. So I was like, you know what? Let me just not go there.
But did he support your enthusiasm when it came to fashion?
Yeah, he's always been supportive, and I can't say my parents allowed me to be myself and find myself, and not, a lot of my friends, their parents are like, you have to be this way or be that way, but they really let me find my own path and be myself, which was great.
So what hobbies did you participate in growing up, aside from going to like thrift shops? But what did you do for fun that really fueled your passion in?
Well, I would definitely say I did a lot of hair. It was something I did a lot of. And
like on mannequins or like
my family and friends. Like I learned how to cut hair myself because my mom, being a single parent, she, kind of slacked on the haircut, getting my haircut sometimes. So what I did was start saving the money. And I bought some clippers, and I kind of used my little cousins as guinea pigs.
And
I destroyed some.
Did you cut patches in there?
I kind of messed them up, but back then in the 80s, it was cool. You don't have to fade. We weren't really fading. It was just you could do the line across and then just make the rest ball. So I kind of mastered that just in case I messed up the fade. I can go up a little bit and just draw that line. Now you'll look crazy doing that, but I learned how to cut hair. I would do all of the people in my hometown, like a lot of people would come, a lot of them, the popular kids would come at certain times. I would cut their hair. Then I learned how to do weaves. I learned how to do color. I was just infatuated with doing hair. But my family and friends took advantage of that. Now I hate doing hair. But when I started with Destiny's Child, it's like I was placed where, all my talent was used. So me and Miss Tina was doing the girls' hair and dressing them. So I just think that was one of the things. I used to love to do hair.
Like your childhood prepared you for...
I hate hair now, but back then, cutting hair, doing hair, and just finding friends and like doing little makeovers on people, just making them feel good about themselves. When I was in high school, actually junior high school, some of my friends' parents I would go school shopping for them, and they would pay me to get their stuff because I made best dress in school. I always was into fashion, so that was kind of my thing. Fashion always been a part of my DNA.
But did you know growing up that did you want to pursue a career in fashion, or did it just happen?
It just kind of happened. I was, like I said, I packed my car up and moved from Austin to Houston. And after like a month or two, I started working at stores doing the visuals, like the merchandising and dressing the mannequins. And that's kind of how, of course, you don't think it's something your passion, you're supposed to get paid for it. But when actually meeting Miss Tina, and she had hired me to start working with her for Destiny's Child. So it's like you're placed somewhere where you can get paid just being who you are.
And we know you went to work in visuals, and that's how you met Miss Tina. But what other jobs did you have, like growing up?
Growing up, my first job was at a grocery store. I was the bagger, sacker, whatever you call it, and I was like, I like to get going. The days were going long, so I became a cashier, and I love lines. I was the only person that wanted a long line because I wanted the day to go quicker.
Right.
So they were like, go over there to Ty.
Right.
You do it. So I would do that. That was my first job, and then after that, I worked at a movie theater for a second, and then I worked at the Artificial Heart Company, which made really good money, and it was the health bits, but I just knew that wasn't for me, and I walked away from this amazing job just to find myself, and I'm glad I did that.
And that's when you moved to Houston.
Mm-hmm.
And that was in 95.
I don't know the exact year, a little bit before 95, like 92, 91, 92, yeah. And
then when you were doing the window dressing, which is like visual merchandising, that's when you met Miss Tina.
Yeah, I met Miss Tina. I was working at the store called Booyaka. I met her the first time in a store, the mall, and we just connected, and just the energy and me being 4 hours away from my mom, I don't know, we just immediately hit. And so after maybe 2 or 3 years of just constantly seeing each other every blue moon, I started working at Guess, I worked at BB, I worked at Booyaka, but she was always...
She followed you.
Yeah, the client. And we just built a relationship, and she said, I'm going to get you out of here one day. And I didn't believe her, but I had her number, and I called her on a day off. Instead of just relaxing, I called her, and the rest is history.
And so you were in your early 20s then, around that time?
No, child.
No?
Yeah, late.
Ish? Late 20s? Late 20s?
Yeah, I'm 44 now.
Who would have thought? Black really does not true.
I'm 44 now, but yeah, I was in like the late 20s.
So you are this, at this time, this young adult from Austin, moved to Houston. You met the mother of this girl group of four girls at the time?
Yeah.
And she called you called her, and she took you from Boudica, and the next week you are dressing girls for the Grammys.
Yeah.
How does that feel? Like at the time, your life literally changes within the matter of a couple of hours.
It took me literally probably, I'm not even over exaggerating, it took me probably about 6 months to really take it all in. Because I just wanted to do a great job, and I was learning. I was a sponge because Christina is so amazing, and I just wanted to sponge up everything and learn. And so I took it as more of a, being a student and just learning how to take this in. And it didn't hit me until literally like we were in Japan, and the girls were singing Survivor, and it was like their TRL of Japan, and all these people were singing Survivor. Knowing they don't speak English, that was my touching moment. And that's when I realized, like, oh, I've done this. And because we were on the go, like, constantly.
Right.
Yeah.
So you couldn't really have a time to, like, process it.
Yeah, to breathe and enjoy it.
Yeah.
I was just trying to get it done and be professional and make sure that everybody was happy that I was there.
Right. So this was in the 90s. Music was a lot different.
This was 99, 2000.
And you were dressing 4 black girls, and at the time, Miss Tina, she was like their stylist, and she made their clothes. What did you learn then? Because a lot of designers, when you had to call them, they wouldn't give you, clothes for them to wear. What did you learn from that, and how did their rejection help you as a stylist?
It was a learning process, and I'm glad it happened. It's just that a lot of times people don't see the big picture before, I have the gift to see potential in certain things and certain people. And so it's good to give people chances. And what happens is a lot of times people don't realize you turning someone down, but you're going to actually have to call them to,
Right, put on your clothes.
Yes, and that's kind of what happened.
Like
after Independent Women hit, that's when it was easier for us to pull and stuff. And those same people who told us no and turned us down were calling us like, why come you guys don't come? So, me being the good person I am, we still didn't throw nobody under the bus, and we just, just started from there. But it taught me to always give people chances, and like young designers, and thank God that the girls in Beyoncé, they don't have to be this top designer, if it's hot, why not, so we were able to start a lot of careers and help a lot of young designers up and coming.
So we're going to get back to that, but I just want, this is for the people who want to become a stylist, or think they want to become a stylist. You were fortunate enough to be in the right place at the right time and have that connection and relationship with Miss Tina.
Mm-hmm.
But for people who don't have that person, do you think you have to go to school to become a stylist, to like learn Pantones and fabrics and things like that?
I think if you feel that that's what you need, you know what I mean? I was self-taught, but again, my partner Raquel, she went to school for it. I just think if it's something you want to do, it's nothing wrong with learning and bettering yourself in your passion or whatever. Me personally, I learned, and Miss Tina was my teacher, and I just learned on my own. But it's nothing wrong with going to school to learn.
And there are also different types of stylists. Like it's not. I think when people think of a stylist, they think celebrity stylist. But
there's so many depths. It's like you have editorial. You have like it's just so much you have to know.
Commercial. And there are different looks for different things. So
because sometimes things that on editorial would look crazy on the red carpet. Like you got to know what's what in personal life.
So is there like a path somebody should take who wants to become a stylist? Like what should a person do, or what should a person study? Who should a person study? Like, how do you get into this? Because it's not by chance.
Yeah.
Like there is no algorithm. You can't say, hey, I'm going to take these 1, 2, 3, and then boom, I'm going to become a stylist. But within any career or position, there are just certain nuances that you should have within yourself and certain things.
I just think in anything, not just styling, in anything, you have to really believe that this is, if that's really what you want and you're passionate about it, you just got to keep going, pushing forward. I know we hear this all the time, but I'm telling you, if it's something you want, a dream, you have to push forward, and you can't waste a day. Like you have to at least give an hour or 2 a day to your passion. Even if you have a 9 to 5 now, if it's something you want to do outside of that, when you get home or before, even on your break, Google, do some research or do something. Spend at least an hour or 2 a day towards what you're trying to do in your passion. And you don't be afraid to speak up. Like, a lot of times people in the room, and I love the kids that come up to me because that's the first step in realizing that this is something you want to do. So to have courage to be in a room with somebody you admire and just say, look, I want to be a stylist, like that's amazing, because a lot of people are afraid. I'd rather you come up to me and say, you know what, go home and say Ty was the nicest guy, or you can go up, be in the same room with another celebrity or whoever you admire and be like, that person was a BITCH, versus you going home and you didn't take that opportunity to go up and, talk. So closed mouths don't get fed. You have to talk and just really believe in your dream and learn your craft and, stick to your guns. If you have a certain style or way that you do things, you have to get to a place where people are going to believe this is the way it has to be. You don't have to change. Don't be comparing yourself to other people in your field. Look at what you're doing, what makes you comfortable and what you like, and just stick to that.
And I think, aside from not comparing yourself to people in your field, I think now within social media, we see all of these people who have hundreds and thousands of followers, and people think that it's quick. Mm-hmm. And they think, oh my gosh, well they did this, I need to do this so that I can get to where they are. But I don't think a lot of people realize that there's a process. And there are really levels.
It's levels.
Seriously. And it doesn't happen within an instant. I think now a lot of people want instant success, and that's just not the way any of this works.
Mm-hmm. It's so true.
Yeah. So what are like the misconceptions about styling and stylists?
I would definitely say people just look at the beautiful part of it, like, he's with me and the Grammys, this. They don't know I might have missed my daughter's birthday, I might have missed, a wedding, I might, it's so much you have to sacrifice, you have to give your all to this craft. And that's the part, like when I do my motivational speaking with Raquel, when we do Let's Talk, we just kind of let people know the good and the bad, because people are just so used to seeing the instant gratification, the pretty part of it, but not knowing what you just sacrificed and going, you're sick or whatever, and you missing a lot of stuff. So I think that's the part that people don't get. They just seeing the glamorous part of it, but not knowing that I literally just missed my daughter's birthday. Right.
And it's funny that you said that, because that's the reason why I wanted to start this platform, because a lot of people, they see the glitz and glamorous part, but they don't understand how long it took for somebody to get there. You know what really happens behind the scenes. No one knows what happens before you got on that carpet. Like you could have been in a car accident,
right?
You are still expected to do your job. You're expected to show up and show out. So I want people to really understand and realize this isn't fun at all times. It's not always pretty, but this is my job. I'm doing what my calling is, and you know what I'm supposed to be doing at this time.
Exactly.
So, what were some of the challenges you faced in the beginning when you started? You know, your life literally changed within a week, and you worked for years. And after a couple of years, I'm sure you created like a system. But before you could create the system, what were some of the things you had to kind of maneuver through to get to where you are?
You know, my daughter was 5 at the time, and so just having to say goodbye, and now I'm kind of jealous because now we have FaceTime and Skype and all that. Like, I missed like a lot of, you know, amazing moments I wasn't able to see it. And even when I started, I don't even think we had cell phones. It was like two-way pages.
Right.
So a lot of stuff, you know, when you leaving the country, you just gone and you calling and praying somebody answered the home phone because we didn't have cell phones back then. So, you know, just that part of it, again, the sacrificing was really, really hard. But at the same time, I wanted it because I wanted a better life for my family. And I just knew that, you know, to learn from Miss Tina and learn, you know, the business, that part of it, and just to be able to travel the world, you know, certain things that I didn't even think of, you know, living in the small town of Austin, Texas, you know, but just to even leave the country and have a passport and get it stamped, like that was beyond, that was the amazing part of everything. There's more world out there.
When did your daughter realize like who you were? Like, of course she knew that you were her father, but
it didn't hit her until I took her to a B2K concert. And she said, "Oh, Marion say, Ty, what's up?" And she was like, "You know him?" Like, because she was so used to, you know, Kelly, Michelle, and B and Solange. So I think that's when it hit her, like years later.
Yeah.
Somebody outside of what she was familiar with knew who I was.
You being gone a lot of the times, did it affect your relationship with her in any type of way? Because especially
yeah. I mean, she understood when she got older, but of course, you know, you constantly saying, "I gotta go, goodbye," whatever. Yeah, of course.
How did you deal with that?
It was hard. It really was hard, and you know, you had to play catch up eventually. You know, as time went on, but it was really, really hard.
So you were with these 4 girls every day.
3.
It changed to 3. How did you change as a person? Because you went from living your life privately to always being seen on red carpets, and your life started to become a little bit more public. How did that start to affect you, and how did you adapt to that change?
I just made it a point to say that I'm not going to change who I am. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I've been blessed to be able to balance that. I'm still the same person I was back then. You know, mentally, of course, you learn a lot of things, but I wanted to make sure I stayed well grounded and humble. And I was just raised this way, and I don't know. I see people, you know, get a little touch of fame and become these monsters, but I just think it's more energy to become a monster and be put on this act instead of just being myself, being who I am, and it keeps me blessed and keeps me, you know, a lot of these kids, you gotta acknowledge people. I'm fabulous, but at the same time, I'm humble. People don't know you can be those two things at the same time. These kids come in and being fabulous and going to the showrooms. I'm here to see Lisa. Okay, that girl you didn't speak to that's at the front is now, Lisa's no longer here. Now she's running the company. So you have to acknowledge people. I don't care if it's the janitor, I don't care if it's the interns. I always thank the interns for what they do, because eventually they will, you know, rise. So people, instead of just looking at the now, you don't know what's going to happen in the future. So always acknowledge people and always treat everybody the same. Nobody's better than the other person.
Did you ever feel yourself, even if it were for an instance, like a moment, feel like you were changing, like your personality was changing?
I've changed as far as just knowledge and knowing, but as far as my attitude towards people, it's the same. like, of course I've changed, and I want to find the things in life when you start knowing, just traveling the world, you learn so much. But as far as my attitude and how I treat people, I'm the same as I was a little country boy in Austin, Texas.
Right.
I'm still yes ma'am. I'm still opening the door for women. I'm still letting women get on the elevator first. It's the southern hospitality in me as well.
So you went from 4 to 3, and then from 3 to 1.
I did each girl individual project too.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it was still.
Yeah, it was Kelly, Michelle, Solange B, then Destiny Child again. Then like I did all of that.
You bounced back and forth.
Yeah.
But
then I ended up being with just B.
You just ended up being with just B. And as she progressed in her career, she grew, which made your job even more responsible and heavy lifting and demanding. Even though you were used to 4 and then 3 and then you worked on each individual ones, like life I'm sure became very hectic for you. How do you create like a work-life balance when you're constantly, I guess, being on call, because you never know when something can just pop up and you're like, hey Ty, I need you to come and how do you create a balance with that?
You just, like I said, we all grew together, and so I wasn't a celebrity stylist, she wasn't a megastar, so that was the advantage that I have over my other friends who have to get these gigs every blue moon. We had a loyalty towards each other, and we just grew together and learned each other's patterns, and it wasn't as hard as it would be somebody just thrown in fire.
Right.
So we just kind of grew and learned each other.
And you were able to just like adapt naturally. So if you, I guess I don't even know if you'll be able to answer this because it's like a hypothetical, and you weren't in that situation, but say you guys didn't have such close relationship, how do you think you would have been able to, I guess, do your job? Because everybody doesn't have that luxury to have that loyalty with that one sole person. Like some people, you're kept like an arm's length. So if you had that type of arm's length type of encounter, how do you think your job would have been, and how would you think that would have affected you, like who you are now?
I still think I would be exactly the same. I would do whatever it takes to learn that my clients' insecurities or whatever, but I've always had the mindset that what's for me is for me. So whatever way the river goes, as far as my destiny and journey, it is what it is. So I would definitely want to make sure the client is happy and make sure, I know their insecurities, because at the end of the day, it's about their brand. It's not about really what, when they step on that carpet, it's like, they're not going to mention my name, they're going to mention that person's name, looking a mess or whatever. Right. So it's just finding out making sure that person gets a smile on their face and they are completely okay with everything, then I'm good.
So you styled for years, a lot of events, a lot of carpets. You've traveled the world, you've been on several tours, you've done a lot of quick changes, you've met a lot of designers, you've sketched, you've set through the whole process. And when people think, oh my God, look at him, he has such a great life, you left a part of that behind. Why?
It's just the truth, you know what I mean? The darkness, I still have moments where I get depressed or whatever, but I always promise myself that it's okay to have down moments, but snap out of it, don't live there. So I even to this day, I'm not saying my life is perfect, but if I have a down day, I'm gonna have my friend come and I'm gonna do a photo shoot. You know what I mean? I'm gonna find something to lift my spirits up. And I just want people to know that you can live a happy life if you don't allow the world to take and strip you of your character. I don't allow people to strip me of my character, and when I do feel that, I will leave, whatever the situation is, at all costs, because I don't like becoming something that I'm not. So I think people see that in me more than anything is strength. And if like I said, I have a bad day just like the other person, but at the same time, I don't let it hinder me. I don't sit there for long periods of time. So my social media is therapy for me also. If I'm going through something, it's my light and my vision to make me feel better. So, and just to get all the positive feedback for other people, it feeds me and keeps me positive and keeps me strong as well. And just knowing that I'm able to touch and have a platform to make other people feel good makes me feel good. I've always been there. I don't need a lot to live. As long as I'm able to pay my bills, get some good food, get a little...
Food is important.
Get a little pinky cocktail every now and then. I'm good. You know, my happiness is knowing that my family is taken care of, and my friends, you know, and I'm able to travel, you know, and just have a good time and enjoy this life, because life is what you make it. If you're going to accept a job that pays $5, you can't complain. If you're going to be in a relationship that you're unhappy in, it's what you make it. Nobody has remote control, so that'll make you happy, sad, or mad. So when you learn that your life is, you control your destiny in your life, it makes life so much better.
I think it's funny to expound on what you just said, because I think we as humans, we go into situations, whether it's a relationship or a job or whatever, and we think, okay, let me go in and try to make the best of it. I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt, because one day it'll get better.
Mm-hmm.
And you keep telling yourself that over and over in your mind, and that's why you stay.
And years later, you still there one day it get better. So it's like, even in relationships or whatever, it's like, I believe in giving chances, you know, but at some point you gotta nip stuff in the bud, because you know, this not a rehearsal. Life is life. So you want to have the best of it. You want to live and be happy and just enjoy it. So a lot of times people think that, my friends and stuff think like, you know, things that really affect them, they think I'm not really catering to their feelings, but a lot of things don't affect me the way it affects you. I'm there for you as an ear, but I just feel like, you know, again, life is what you make it. And I'm not saying stuff is small. Something small to you might be big to me, and big to you and small to you, but I just try not to sweat the small stuff. And if it's a big situation that I know I can't control, I put it in God's hands. It's like, Lord, I can't, this is too much for me. Let me step back and let you handle this, because you'll find yourself in depression, and you'll find yourself, you know, repeating yourself. Like, I just don't believe in being in a relationship or it's something where you just constantly repeating the same thing and action is not being taken. And, you know, your feelings are not being, you know, put in consideration. So I just believe in, like, you know, I just tell myself from now on, if it's something that's not for me, if I don't feel good about it, I'm gonna move on. I don't do anything I don't want to do. You could say, Ty, my birthday party is Thursday. I get up Thursday, I don't feel like going to Sean's birthday. Sean, I know it's your birthday and I'm supposed to be there, but I'm going to take you to dinner next week. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't do nothing I don't want to do. So when you see me doing something, it's something that I'm genuinely interested in.
How long did it take you to get to that?
It took me a long time. And, you know, I try to, like, teach it, and that's why I'm doing the motivational speaking and going on tour and stuff, to teach it, because I self-taught myself this. And I just try to do it, and then I want people to know that age is just a number. Quit looking at how old you are. I'm the happiest I've ever been in my whole life at 44 years old. So, and I'm living my dream and destiny at 44 years old. So, quit putting your age in there because you put a stamp on it and thinking you have an expiration date. Live every day like it's your last and do everything you want to do.
And it just goes to show, no matter how much money you have, no matter how much fame you have, no matter what job you have, that doesn't mean you're self-fulfilled. Like, self-fulfilled it happens within yourself.
Self-fulfilled is just being proud and happy within your skin. I tell people all the time in my seminars, like, we're all these Easter eggs. Everybody's trying to make this shell so beautiful and so appealing. Just Easter eggs, just painted shells with these hollow yolks that are just unfulfilled and just unhappy. So I just believe in just get your yoke right, get your soul right, and once you do that, fashion, everything does not matter. I throw on anything and be making best dress, and it's not because of what I have on, it's because I love myself. It's because my self and confidence is so high It doesn't matter what nobody says. And when you do that, you become this magnet where people really just, what's next, what's next? They want to be around you. They want to feed off and learn from you. And like I said, there's self-taught, but I go around and teach, people to just learn to love yourself.
Yeah.
And we're not born with clothes on. You know what I mean? So these kids with these labels, they're doing all this, and yes, Miss Thing. At the end of the day, guess what? You weren't born in an outfit, so.
And the judgment day, anybody worry about your Birkin bag.
At all. So,
it's about life you live.
People just so, quick to this, what they think life is supposed to be, the materialistic things, and it's not that at all.
Well, you've definitely had God's favor, because once you decided to leave that chapter of your life and you went through, that phase of depression and just rebuilding yourself and getting to know who you were all over again, you released your own products. You came out with Ty Emojis, you came out with Ty-lite, you had a passion project, and now you have an athleisure line, Ty by Reflex, which is just pretty epic. You think it's funny because you have to, you never know what's on the other side of the door, and your people are always afraid to leave one situation because that's all they know, not knowing that in order to get what's for you, you have to kind of leave behind what you've had all this long time. So when you left, when you ended that chapter of your life as far as styling, just Beyoncé, did you know what was going to be on the other side of the door?
I knew that I wanted more, and so I just stepped out on faith. And I just don't even look at life in chapters. I look at that book is done. It's a bestseller. It's a beautiful book. I'm working on a whole book of life. And so I didn't know, but I knew I wanted to step out on faith, and there's so many things I wanted to do and so many goals and stuff that I had written down that I wanted to tackle, and that's how I ended up here. It was not easy. And I can tell that to every single camera, anybody who's listen to me. It was not easy. It was very trying, and but that's the thing. When you really step out on faith, faith is just trusting. And I tell people all the time, I don't pray for the same thing more than one time, because if I pray for it again, that's questioning His work. So I just really stepped out on faith, and it took time, but just being patient and waiting for my blessing in my moment, and now I'm living it. It's an awesome feeling because it's mine, and it's owed to me for being patient and trusting and having faith. And so when you get to that place where things are happening and it's meant for you, it's just an awesome feeling.
I don't know if depression is like a prerequisite for your blessings, because when I came to you 2 years ago about this project, we talked about it and you told me how much of a great idea it was, and then I just let it go. And then the next year I just went into a full-fledged depression. I mean, I locked myself in my room. I just didn't want anybody around. I needed silence. But during that time, I listened.
Yeah.
I listened to myself, and I allowed myself to be by myself and not worry about all of the noise, the background noise. And during that time, I realized who I was and who I was becoming and who I wanted to be, and the people that I needed in my space in order for that to happen. And 2 years later,
boom,
here we are.
And that's the same thing that kind of happened to me too. I had to step away and just learn to be alone.
Yeah.
I took a trip by myself. I only told a few people where I was going. I left my phone a lot of times, and I just learned to be alone. And I think that's the thing a lot of people have to realize. Once you learn how to be alone with your soul and just learn to talk and really understand yourself, it just opens the door for what's meant to be for you to come in. I literally went on a trip by myself, took my sketch pad, took my journal, and just laid my life out and mapped it out. And I can tell you that the majority of the things that I wrote down on that trip are now happening because I learned to be okay by myself, going to the movies by myself. I was going to the most expensive restaurants, ordering a bottle of wine by myself, doing everything by myself, and I learned to just live and just learn to love and be alone. And then that opened the door, because it's self-love. You know, we taught not to be selfish, but if Sean doesn't feel great about Sean can't be a good boyfriend. Sean can't be a good son. Sean can't be. You have to learn how to take care of yourself first. And anything that you lose in that path of journey of learning to be alone and learning to love yourself, it's not meant for you in the first place.
Listening, one, recognizing that you need to be alone is step one. And two, when you take those steps to be alone, it's kind of like a frightening thing, because you literally have to turn yourself inside out and lay yourself out on the floor and look at everything. You know, your vulnerabilities, your mistakes, all of that stuff. So it's a little scary.
It is.
But I think once you do that and you get to literally pick apart yourself, it's like a rebirth. It's a
really
reconstruction.
You just get the strength that you didn't even know you had.
Or that was always in there, but you just had so much stuff buried on top of it. It's like, oh my God, this was there the whole entire time. Like,
because a lot of times we so quick and we programmed to take care of everybody else instead of ourselves.
Yeah.
So when you finally take that time out for yourself, you get this reward from yourself, from your soul. It's like, okay, now you finally give me some time. Now you make some things happen for you.
It's okay to be selfish.
Yeah,
it is absolutely okay.
Exactly.
So you launched these different lines and products. How did they come about? And because they happened within like a year's time span.
Since 2004. Like I said, when I had a break, instead of me going on vacation like a normal person would, I was like, let me get back in and start doing things that I want to do and just try to knock out some of my goals and some of the things that I wanted to do. So it's been just an amazing journey, and I've learned so much about myself, and I'm just so proud of not just of myself, but just happy for a lot of the love that I've been getting from everyone and people who've been supporting me. You know, I've always been the person going to being there for everybody and just always supporting everybody, and now to get that, you know, I put that positive energy out, and to see it all come back is beyond awesome.
One thing that I liked, the exclamation points on your passion project,
with passion,
merchandise. The exclamation points stand for being proud and a sense of expression. When did you learn to be comfortable to live in your truth and to not allow anybody else to interfere with that?
I would have to say in probably 2002 or 2003. Maybe like 2003. Just learning about myself, and I was still not a vocal person. Cause I can take so much without expressing myself. I don't know, I was built that way. It's the craziest thing. I've always been an ear for people, but not a person to give. I wouldn't tell you what's going on with me. I can just handle it.
But I feel like you have to be that way when you work in such a demanding industry. You have to know how to keep things in, because you have to live a personal life. So it's like, I can't give you my deepest, darkest secrets, because you're not, you don't have the luxury. You don't need to know like what's happening.
Right. But that's when I learned my strength, though. Just allowing people to dump all this on me and just being able to take it or whatever. I don't know. I just always been like that Oprah or that therapy session for a lot of my friends. Still to this day, I don't even think I have a few people that I can go deep with or whatever. But I don't know. I've just always been that way.
Yeah. So you just launched an athleisure line. You have several billboards in Times Square.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
When did you take the time to stop and say, oh my God?
It happened like a couple of days after the launch of my Ty Hunter by Reflex at 602 plug. Literally, like, it's just going, you know, and the whole sketching process last year, and just everything coming to life. I literally had to run errands maybe like 2 or 3 days ago, not years, but 2 or 3 days ago, and I was like, I have a billboard in New York City. Like, I moved here And that wasn't even part. That's how amazing God is, because that I never even put that in my to do want something I wanted, like billboards in Times Square. But when you get to a place, he shows out. He
shows up and show out.
Shows out. So now that's happening, and then next month I'll be on Taxi TV. Just certain things that it's just his constant blessings, and it all comes from me being a good person too, and just acknowledging people. People don't know you walking in a room full of people and not saying hi and not acknowledging people. You don't know who that person is. This person can have on jean shorts and a raggedy t-shirt and be a billionaire that owns this gig, can help you get to where you're going. Exactly. But you over here just because this person is beside you down, giving them all the attention.
And they can't afford it.
$5 in their bank account. Acknowledge every single person.
Oh, they probably stole it.
Yeah.
So why an athleisure line, and what does Ty by Reflex represent? When someone puts it on, how should they feel?
I just wanted to do something for every woman, and my athleisure line, a lot of women put on stuff and call themselves dressing down. My dress down is still dressing up. Mm-hmm. I want to make things colorful, bright, and fun, not too serious. I just don't believe in taking fashion too serious anymore, and just have fun and motivate you to want to do things and get out the house. Because color is so, everything is so monotoned and so flesh colored these days that I wanted to bring back color. And when I started the line, I went back to the 60s, which were kind of the 80s, kind of knocked off the 60s. So it brought back a time when I was young and right. Color blocking and all that was popping. So I just wanted to bring that era back and just be for every woman. Every single woman is from every race. My campaign is my chocolate sister, the Asian yes. sister, white sister, all across the board, the Latin. So I just wanted each woman to see herself, envision herself in my pieces as well.
Where can people find Ty by?
It's Ty by Reflex is at all the 602s. If you follow me on anything, I have all the. If you just go to 602.com as well, you can find a local 602 and please go support. You're gonna love it. It's good fabric, good material. Awesome.
Support it, guys. So we're almost done. I have a couple of questions left. What scares you?
What scares me is that's a hard one. What scares me? Rats. New York rats. No, what scares me is just,
They are huge though.
Oh, they are. What scares me? I don't know. I'm just not really. Just not being able to leave my mark on the earth before I leave. I want to stamp as much as I can.
For the boy or girl watching this video, what do you want for him or her to take away from all of this?
You can live your dream. You can do and be anything you want to be. Don't allow your habitat, your environment to keep you down. Don't allow your family and friends to keep you down. If it's your vision, sometimes you got to move quietly because you have people be like, girl, you want to do what? You know what I mean? So don't listen to the outside world. Listen to your inner soul and your inner spirit. If it's something you want to be or do, you can do it. There wasn't a plus size model category. There wasn't a black girl on the cover of no magazine. There wasn't a black person running for president. Didn't even think, you know what I mean? But if you believe in your passion, your dreams, you go for it. Make the world come and understand your vision. If you truly believe it, it's going to shine so bright. A big girl went into a agency and was like, I want a model. But she had so much passion and believed in it. They was like, you know what? We're going to do a plus size agency. Obama, president, nothing, you don't, because you're too short or you too old, don't listen to none of that. If it's something you want to do, if you really believe in it, you put your mindset and your passion is there, keep going. You're going to get a lot of no's, but you will get a yes if you convince yourself that this is what you're supposed to do. You can convince others.
You Instagrammed something today that, as simple as it was, it makes all of the difference. And it said sometimes you have to wait for your moment. Mm-hmm. Because timing is everything. And so many times you want to rush the process. Right. And when I first moved to New York, after a couple of years of being here, interning and meeting all of these awesome people, I was like, this is what I want for my life, and I want it to happen right here and there. And I'm like, why is it not happening? It's not happening quick enough. Like, I know what I want, and I need it to be here because, of course, we want instant gratification. And then I sat down and I was like, okay, Sean, if you were to get this blessing prematurely, you would not know what to do with it, and you would completely just defecate all over it, and you wouldn't get this back. So you need to sit down, take a chill pill, and enjoy the process. And I feel like we don't enjoy the process because we're so focused on what's at the end of the tunnel. We don't take that moment out to enjoy what's here, what's here. So that when we get there, we say, oh my God, I can enjoy this so much more because I literally went through hell and high water and thorns and, you know, the bush to finally end up at this moment. How do you enjoy the process?
Now I can enjoy it a lot more because, you know, just because it's reachable, I can see it now, you know, but in the beginning phases, like when you writing stuff down or whatever, of course you have this, you know, in your mindset how you want things to be, but when you finally get there, it just feels awesome. And, you know, just the moment, with me personally, I just seem like good people moments take a little longer than, you know. So you just have to stop comparing yourself and looking what other people are doing that you know you deserve to. You can't be looking at that. You have to just know what's for you is for you. So your phases of life and your steps is just building you to be ready, completely ready for when that moment comes. The person I was a couple of years ago couldn't handle what's going on right now. Mentally wasn't ready. But now I have a voice. I'm stronger. I know what I will and will not put up with. I'm just a whole nother person. And so, you know, I'm ready for my moment. And it took me this long to get here. But now this is my journey. And that's the thing, you know, age, you can't look at age. You can't look at other people. You have to look at when you're ready and you know you're physically and mentally ready for your moment. And it's yours. And that's where longevity comes in at. My moment will be here because it's owed to me. I've been patient and it's my moment. Versus something happening quick like this. Quick things die quick. So you looking at somebody now that have all this going on, that could end like this.
And people also don't know what it takes to maintain that. Like it's work. I think people look at Kim K and say, oh, she's beautiful, she just has money. But in order to keep your money, you have to work for your money. No one's just handing you, you know, anything. You have to in order to maintain that lifestyle, you have to work, if not a little bit harder, to be able to continue to afford those luxuries.
She works and she's smart, and you know, just society in general, like just on social media, people just seeing like the instant, but not knowing what the sacrifices went in, you know, to get there. And you know, like I said, I'm just loving my moment and I'm living it, and you know, I've earned it, and you know, I don't question it no more. You know, at one point I was questioning, wow, this is happening for me, like whatever. I'm questioning God's blessings. Now, why not me? I've been a good person. I've done this, that for other people. Why not let, you know? So now when something comes to me, I'm like, thank you, Lord. Let me make this great. So, you know, I'm just at a good headspace and good spiritually right now.
Last question. Who is Ty?
Ty is an amazing spirit, amazing soul who is beyond happy of who he's becoming.
Well, you guys have heard it here on Always Pinkies Up. Thank you, Ty, for joining me. Thank you for sharing your story with all of us. It was very inspirational and very inspiring. You guys, before we go, don't forget to take a sip of your cup and remember, always pinkies up. Bye, guys. Thank you.